Hello everyone and welcome to DS Podcast, the first video that we have unreleased. Well, apart from the introduction video, but isn't that a bit like a prologue in a book? I don't know. But anyway, this is the first official video, and I thought for the first podcast, we have got some amazing guests coming on, but I thought actually, I haven't really introduced myself for the wider viewers who might not know who I am. I haven't really spoke about me personally, my career, or who I am, and how can you get behind a host if you don't really know who that person is. So I do apologise for that already. So here's a little bit about me. Hope you enjoy. How did I become a performer? Well, this is a really tricky one. I wasn't really into anything when I was a kid. Like my mum always used to tell me how many times she used to like try and force me to go to kids clubs and do things. And even back in the day, everyone knows now I'm a massive football fan, but I couldn't even get into football. I always remember one memory of me playing football at an after school club, and I was just daydreaming into the sky, and all of a sudden everyone's shouting at me, the ball's behind me in the back of the net. No idea it had even gone in. So it took a lot for me to go and do stuff. But I was so good in my own imagination. I just used to enjoy being at home, having a good time with my toys, making up games. Like my dad used to drop me at mum's work after he had me on a Saturday, and my mum used to work at this garden centre, and she'd be like, right, David, go and entertain yourself for about half an hour. And there were no such thing as iPads or iPhones back then. I mean, I'm 28, even back in my day, they didn't have that. But I always remember, like, I just used to go around the sheds and make games up. I was a cowboy, I was a spaceman, I was everything, superhero, anything. Footballer, I used to make up little things in my head. So I was always good in my own imagination, but I always remember I got to, like, my teens. My sister messaged me, well, she messaged my mum and said that there's a role going for an acting company for the Lion Kingdom. So it's basically a spin-off from the Lion King. And she said, why don't David go and apply for that? He's full of energy, he's full of enthusiasm, very hyper, why don't you try that? And my mum told me, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. I went along, didn't really think anything about it. I had to prepare a song. I'd never sang really before to anyone in my life, apart from in school productions, which I was always in the back. And I went along to this thing, and I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. You know, what's the worst that can happen? I went along, did some acting bits, and then they gave me the role of Scar. And I mean, I was just like, how has this happened? Like, how has this happened? Did the show, remembered my lines very well, and I remember everyone saying to me that you were really good in that. You were really good, that you were good. And this isn't me asking for sympathy on this, but I'd never really been told in my life that I was very good at anything. There were like things where I was good at my writing. It was like, yeah, David's a good little writer, but I'd never been told I was really good at something. And so when someone told me that, I was like, do you know what? That makes me feel good. I've had a buzz from doing it. I'm going to go and push myself to do more. So I joined up with an agency that ran the same company. And then I went on and joined drama groups like Drama Works, and then fell in love with the best drama group in the world, Showdown Theatre Arts. And they pushed me on, and I did fantastic roles throughout my career, such as Danny Zuko in Grease, and Coach Bolton in High School Musical, Gaston in Beauty and the Beast, just to name a couple. I had the best time. And developed my skills there. So yeah, if people ask me how I got into acting, that's my sister. It's a great question. I think all actors and performers can agree with this, what I'm about to say. It never ever starts as a career. Like, it never starts, like in that moment when you're like, I'm going to do this as a career. It always starts as a hobby, and then you fall in love with it. And I think it's that one thing that I as well as football, it's the one thing that I've always fallen in love with, the passion of how I feel on stage, the excitement, the fact that I love entertaining. And I still love that to this day. I love going out onto stage and making people feel good. That's, if I can make someone entertained and feel good and switch off from their day-to-day life, I've done a good job. I think the moment for me that made me go, this is the career I want, was when I went out with Showdown to America. And I went to the Baltimore School for the Arts, and the training over there was incredible, and like the stuff, the detail that the Americans go into was frightening in the sense of how much I hadn't seen before performing. And I just came away and I just went, I've just spent 10 days just performing. I don't want to go back to working in a cafe or working in a leisure centre. I was like, I want to perform. I want to do what I want to do. And I love my job at the leisure centre. I worked at a leisure centre for years and I had a great time. but it was never the end goal for me. They're a great company and I've always loved working for them, but that was not the end goal. And so I think that moment for me was, you've got to take this seriously. You've got to really show what you can do. So I pushed myself into drama schools and going and taking the no's was hard. I think even now, taking a no is so difficult. And there were times I'd go along to these drama school auditions, get no's, and it was like, well, if they don't see something in me, then am I good enough to make a career out of it? And the truth is you are. And I got into London College of Music in London and a musical theatre and never looked back. And I think that's the main thing. It's those little moments in life, it's little things you do, suddenly it just tweaks in your brain, and it's a difference from, this is a hobby that maybe could progress to, this is the end goal for me. This is where I need to go. What's the hardest part about being a performer? Well, it's the nose, isn't it? It's the nose. Not my actual nose, no. No, not your literal nose. I actually got quite nice. Well, I'm happy with my nose anyway. You can have an opinion, but I'm quite happy with my nose. Not the nose is in the body part. It's the rejection of getting a no at an audition. And with being an actor or performer or whatever you want to be, the rejection is so tough, because you come out of drama school and you're this fresh, new performer. You're like, right, I'm going to take on the world. The first audition I'm going to walk into and they're going to love me. I'm new. I know everything. I've learned all this stuff, and you'll get a no. And at first you're just like, oh yeah, okay, we're bound to get a no. And then you get another no, and then you get another no, and then you get another no. And do you know what it is? It's developing such a tough skin. And sometimes you have to remember that the no might not be even because of your ability. The no can be because, I'm taller than that guy, or I'm shorter than that guy, or that guy's got a beard and I haven't, or vice versa. He looks younger for the part, so we're going to go with him. It could be anything. And do you know what it is as well? And I find this as well. It's how much money you put into an audition, just one audition. I'm just talking from myself, going from Horsham in West Sussex. To get to London on the train, it's about £30. You have to take a day off work to go to an audition, so you're losing out on money for that. So you get all the way up there, and I always get up there extremely early. I'm never one to be late for an audition. I'm either way too early for the audition. So then you sit there and go, right, I want to keep warm. I'll go and buy a tea from Pret and sit inside and get comfortable. And then when you've done the audition, you pour your heart out. And then afterwards you sit there and go, oh, do you know what, why not? Let's go and get a McDonald's or something like that. And it's hard because you spend all that money, and by the time that you've gotten home in the end, you've spent nearly like £45 and plus lost money out on the job that you're doing. And you get a letter the next day, or an email. You get an email the next day, you might get a letter, saying, thank you very much, but it's a no. And then you've got to push yourself to spend money again to go and do it. And I know the audition panels, they're always very grateful for you to get in the room and be there for them to represent yourself. But it is hard, and it's that time of going, how much more can I push myself? How much more money can I spend? How much do you want it? And it is hard. It's really, really difficult, to just keep getting a no. But the thing I find is when you get that yes, it makes you forget about the 10 previous no's you've had, and you just sit there and you're so proud of yourself. I remember when I got Disney Cruise Line and I went out as an entertainment host, getting that yes after a tough round of auditions was the best feeling in the world. I felt like I was on cloud 9. I was so happy. And all the previous no's I got were, well, that's it. Doesn't matter about them. I've got this job. And it's just remembering that you are good at what you do. You are brilliant at what you do. And just remembering that for the future. It doesn't matter that other people think that you're not right for that particular part. You are good enough as an actor, as a performer, a presenter, whatever you want to be. And I always took this on board. And people sometimes go, oh, it's so horrible to keep saying to your family and your friends, oh, it's a no, because then they're going to think, oh, maybe you're not good enough, maybe give up, go to an office job or something like that. What I say now is, whenever I do an audition, no matter how well or no matter how bad it went, and I've had both. I've had terrible auditions where I've completely forgot my lines, and I've had great auditions where I've gone in and absolutely smashed out the park and I'm so happy, and it couldn't have gone any better in my opinion. I always go, I was okay, thanks. And that way, when people ask you, how'd the audition go? You're not giving them an inkling of it went bad or it went well. I just turned around and went, yeah, I was okay, thanks. You walked in, you did your stuff. They said, okay, thank you very much for coming. Off you go. That's the way I take anything on board. That way it doesn't upset you and it doesn't make you feel bad. That's the biggest advice I give to anyone. Never forget how good you are. Best moment of my career, that's by far a recent one. Was when I was performing for Disney Cruise Line. I remember getting the job and I remember sitting there going, wow, I am going to be working for Disney, like working as an entertainment host on Disney Cruise Line, and it was by far the best job I've ever had. It was incredible. I absolutely loved it. And I've done some amazing things in my career, but I've worked with Stephen Mulhern in his show. I've worked with Arsenal. I've done some fantastic things. I've worked at Butlins where I was a red coat. Brilliant career. And I'm very, very proud of all that I've done. But that in particular was special. That in particular is special because I sat there and I remember looking out once and seeing the Mickey ears. And I was like, I used to watch DVDs. I used to watch VHS videos of Disney. And now I'm representing the biggest entertainment company in the world. And I never take anything for granted. I'm so grateful for what I've done in my career and how far I've gone. But that was a special moment. But I always remember the moment that I felt like I couldn't have gone any higher in terms of how I felt was doing the Sail Away show on Disney Cruise Line. And I looked over, hosting the show, and I saw Mickey Mouse standing next to me, Minnie Mouse standing over there, Goofy over there, Donald over there. And I just went, I've made it. I don't care what I do for the rest of my career now, I have made it. I've done something that I'm so proud of myself for. So yeah, working for Disney Cruise Line is by far the best thing I've ever done in my career yet. Who's my biggest idol? Well, there's a few. I mean, I love Hugh Jackman. I love Will Smith. I love Michael McIntyre. I love loads of people. But for me, my biggest idol, and everyone who knows me will know the answer to this, David Tennant. He is by far, in my opinion, one of the best actors in the world. I think he can play a multitude of different roles. I've seen him in Broadchurch, I've seen him in Harry Potter, I've seen him in Hamlet, and then Doctor Who. I mean, he is my Doctor Who. And I remember every Saturday night sitting there and being like, we're going to watch Doctor Who, literally because of David Tennant, for many times. He was amazing. And if I can be even a quarter of what he can do, I'm a brilliant actor. I'm not though. But he's amazing. And you know, I've always looked up to him. I think he's a really nice guy. I think when he got that National Television Award for recognition, you can see he's just a genuine bloke, and you know, he makes aspiring actors look up to be him. I think he's so genuine, I think he's so real. He is by far the biggest idol I've ever had, and he's called David, and the best people are called David. What would be my dream job? Oh my word, where you're asking, I've got a few. I think in terms of acting, if I wanted to be an actor, I think my dream role in acting would be Doctor Who. If you could tell me any role I could act in the world, it would be Doctor Who. I just think, you know, it's what I think special about Doctor Who is that he regenerates into a completely different personality as well, and I love that. And I think I could put my own little spin on it. So if you cast him for Doctor Who after Ncuti Gatwa, but I'm sure there's better out there. But I'd love to play Doctor Who. That's always been the role as a kid. I used to do things when I was youngster. I used to pretend to regenerate in how I would act. I know it's really sad, but it's me. But my dream role would be a presenter on a TV show. I'd love to have my own TV show, my own talk show. I'd love to work on children's TV. I'd love to work on sports TV, a football channel, Sky Sports, anything like that. I'd love to be a presenter. To have my own TV show would be the dream goal. It would be the dream. Something different about me. That's a really good question, and I'm going to go with this: dinosaurs. I absolutely love dinosaurs, and it's got to the point now where if I'm ever in public with someone, if someone sees anything dinosaur related in the distance, it's David, look, there's a dinosaur. Like I'm a 5-year-old child, and I know dinosaurs are something that you should probably leave behind, you know, when you're 10. But I couldn't. I love dinosaurs. I've done my own dinosaur channel, David's Dinosaur Diaries. If you want to head over and have a look, you're more than welcome to do that. I just love them. I'm just so fascinated by facts about them. And also another thing as well, I love steam railways. Steam railway engines, steam engines, old-fashioned railways, old-fashioned steam trains. And all my mates sit there and go, why do you like trains? I don't know, it's just a thing. I could be at a railway station for hours just looking at trains. The Mallard is my favourite, the Flying Scotsman I love, City of Truro. They're the two fun facts about me that people might not know. And going back to the dinosaurs, my favourite dinosaur, I think Brontosaurus would be. I think it would be a Brontosaurus. So, or T-Rex, but that's basic, isn't it? But here we go. Best musical, for me, there's two answers for this. I think it's either Grease or Kinky Boots. I think Grease was so special to me because it was the first musical I ever watched when I was younger, and getting into musicals, it was the first one I ever watched, and I was like, oh my days, this is great. I love Grease, and all the songs are great, and you know, Danny Zuko was just so cool, although Kaneki is cooler. He is. And I've played both of those roles. I played Kaneki once in one show of Grease, and I played Danny Zuko in another show of Grease, as well as Sunny as well, but different shows. So Grease would always be in my heart. But I remember Kinky Boots. I remember being in drama school, and that was the first show I saw when I started living in London. And I remember falling in love with it. I fell in love with it. I watched it with my mate Ollie, my flatmate at uni, and I actually fell in love with it. It was just so good, feel good. The songs are amazing. The message behind it is incredible. And at the end, everyone's clapping their hands and having a good time. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that. So yeah, I think Grease and Kinky Boots will be my two favourites. What do I want to come out of this podcast channel? Really good question. And I think, do you know what? I just want to do something where I can talk to people. I love talking to people. I love getting to know people. I love hearing stories. And I think that's what I want this channel to be. And that's why I put my slogan on there. You don't have to be famous to tell your story. And I think it's so important to hear that, because there are so many people that do amazing things, that go through amazing experiences, amazing adventures and battle things in their life that aren't ever heard because they're not famous. And I think it's so vital that we push those stories out there if you're wanting to. So that's why I said in my introduction video, anyone is welcome on DS Podcast. Any subject is welcome on DS Podcast. I want to get to know people. And I think sometimes with experiences, you can experience something that you want to talk about because you want people to know they're out there maybe going through the same thing as well, that they're not alone and that they can understand what they're going through as well. So I think that's really, really important. And that's why I want to do that. And there's so many great things in this world. You know, we've got some amazing people coming on. We've got someone coming on who does BSL sign language. We've got someone who's coming on who's a magician. We've got someone coming on who's a drummer. It's so important to hear all these amazing things, and I'm all for that. I'm all for that. And we're going to have a bit of a laugh with it as well. So I just want to create a podcast channel that puts people out there, but also people enjoy. And that's all I'm for. Well, that's it. That's a bit about me. I hope it was informative. I hope it was fun. Now you know a bit more about me. We've got so much, as I said, so much coming up on this podcast for you very, very soon. So please subscribe down below. Give a click, because just one click for you means a massive deal for me. So thank you so much for anyone that subscribed or watched this video. Click that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon for the next video. I am so excited. Here we go. DS Podcast. Oh yeah.